Today we're going to work on the law of cosines. The law of cosines is set up here. As you can see, there are three different formulas for it, but really it's all the same thing. It's going to always be an angle and its opposite side is what you're going to be looking at. So we have a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cosine a. These are the other two sides of the triangle. This is a side, and that's its opposite angle is how it's always going to work. It's a little bit more in depth than the law of sines, and this formula is used for these two specific cases: side angle side and side side side, which you cannot solve using the law of sines. So that's why we have the law of cosines. So an example would be, as I gave you, angle A equals 132 degrees, side B is equal to 8, and side C is equal to 9. So that's what's given. So if we draw the triangle out roughly, and I call this A, B, C, we know that this is 132, I know that this is 8, and I know that this is 9. This is a side angle side case, so we know that we're going to use the law of cosines, and what we're going to be looking for at first is going to be this side right here, side A. That's what we're going to try and find, because that's what's opposite this angle, and that was the angle that was given. So we would set up using this right here. We would set up a squared, small a, because that's the side, equals b squared, sorry about that, c, which is 9, look at me messing up here, so 8 squared plus 9 squared, minus 2 times 8 times 9 times a cosine of 132 degrees. That's the setup. That's what you're going to have to figure out. Okay? So you can use your calculators and try to work this down. So we would end up with, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, I'll try to fit it in here so that you guys can see. So we're going to have 8 squared plus 9 squared. That gives us 145, and we're going to subtract from that 2 times 8 times 9 times a cosine of 132, and that gives us this. And then you're going to take the square root of that, because that's a squared. So we take it of the answer, and we get that as our solution. Okay, so that's what this is roughly. So we will round off to 3 decimal places. So 15.536. Okay, so that's what we got for that side. So we know that a squared was roughly 241.3548073, and then we took the square root, and then we rounded off to approximately 15.536. Okay, so now it's up to you which way you would like to do it. But we're going to use the law of sines, because now we have an angle and its opposite side. So we can switch from the law of cosines to the law of sines in the middle of a problem. Okay, I'll move this up here so we have more room. So we would then set up for our next part, and I don't care which one you find, B or C, but we would set up the sine of 132 over 15.536 must be equal to the sine of B over 8. Again, getting our calculators out, clearing out what we just did. We know we have 8 times sine 132, and we're going to divide that by 15.536, and that gives us that. So that's sine B. So we have sine B equals 0.382669838. So then I go second sine, because I want to find the angle of that ratio, and that gives me that B And we're going to round, so it's approximately 22.499. 22.499 degrees. That's what we get. Okay? And from that, I now know what angle C is. That's angle B. So angle C would be equal to 180 minus 132, because that's the original angle, minus the angle that we just found, 22.499, and that gives us 25,501 degrees for C. And you found all the missing information. And that is an SAS case for the law of cosines.